Dollars being given as grants to 20 companies that'll help boost U.S. production of batteries for electric vehicles.
The president says sales of electric vehicles have more than tripled since he took office. By the same token,
with more electric vehicle sales, the demand for batteries and the critical minerals that go into those batteries has grown and is going to continue to grow.
The president says the effort will cut into China's lead in making the EV component. He added Republicans have been critical, but some also want the project for their district.
Fox's Gernal Scott. Separately, BMW announcing a nearly $2 billion plan to build electric vehicles in South Carolina, where Senator Lindsey Graham calls batteries the new oil, pledging to hold a hearing on EV materials if Republicans win control of the Senate. The president releasing more oil from the strategic reserves, denying it's political ahead of the midterms, while Republicans and the industry continue to criticize his energy policies. A taxpayer group in Wisconsin wants the nation's highest court to step in as a legal fight continues over the president's plan to cancel some student debt.
The Brown County Taxpayers Association asks the U.S. Supreme Court to block President Biden's student loan forgiveness program, claiming it tramples the constitutional spending power, arguing the administration made it without congressional approval. The Wisconsin-based group also alleges the plan violates the Administrative Procedure Act, that it will have a gargantuan increase in the national debt, and that it violates the Equal Protection Doctrine, citing White House documents stating the policy is more likely to help borrowers of color.
Fox's Kristen Goodwin. It's one of several lawsuits challenging the plan. This as the new government website to apply for relief suffers early glitches and questions about oversight of the program with no proof of income being required. America is listening to Fox News.
This view was worth a hike.
Right? And it's a good way to stay on top of my health.
Yes, I'm Cologuard, a prescription colon cancer screening option for people 45 plus at average risk. Have you screened for colon cancer?
Not yet.
Don't wait. It's more treatable when caught in early stages.
Tell me more.
Cologuard is non-invasive and it's used at home. It detects altered DNA in your stool to find 92% of colon cancers.
92%?
Yep, even those in early stages.
This was seen in a clinical study with patients 50 and older. Any positive result should be followed by a diagnostic colonoscopy. False positive and negative results may occur. Cologuard is not a replacement for colonoscopy in high-risk patients. Do not use if you have had adenomas, have inflammatory bowel disease and certain hereditary syndromes, or a personal or family history of colon cancer.
Most insured patients pay $0. Ask your provider or an online prescriber if Cologuard is right for you, or visit Cologuard.com.
I'm in.
New debt relief for farmers facing foreclosure.
The Agriculture Department's loan relief program will provide more than $1 billion in debt relief for 36,000 farmers who have fallen behind on loan payments. The USDA is a lender for about 115,000 farmers and livestock producers, and those who have missed payments or are in foreclosure will qualify. The program comes from about $3 billion set aside in the Inflation Reduction Act. Agriculture Secretary Tom Vilsack says U.S. farmers and ranchers have faced incredibly tough circumstances over the last few years caused by droughts and supply chain bottlenecks. At the White House, Jared Halpern, Fox News.
Pennsylvania's lieutenant governor is firing back at his opponent in the Senate race by releasing a doctor's letter that says he's recovering well from a stroke more than 4 months ago. The medical report says Democrat John Fetterman spoke with no cognitive deficits during an exam on Friday and can work full duty in public office. Republican candidate Dr. Mehmet Oz has criticized Fetterman for not releasing detailed medical records. Actor Matthew Perry of Friends fame is opening up about his addiction battle in a new memoir, Friends, Lovers, and the Big Terrible Thing.
According to People, Perry said he wanted to share, when he was safe, the dark side of everything. He began his memoir detailing how he was fighting for his life at the age of 49, the doctors giving the actor a 2% chance to live. Perry was first admitted to the hospital from opioid overuse, and he battled gastrointestinal perforation, which caused his colon to burst. He suffered 2 weeks in a coma and 5 months at the hospital while having to use a colostomy bag for 9 months.
Fox's Michelle Polino. The memoir is due out November 1st. A down day on Wall Street, but not a big sell-off. The Dow dropped about 100 points. I'm Lisa Brady. This is Fox News.
Hello again, everyone. Let's check weather for Eastern Illinois, Champaign-Urbana, and vicinity. Another cold one underway, but moderation expected for the day tomorrow, and a big warm-up ahead of a pattern shift expected by week's end into the weekend, and perhaps through the better part of next week as well, getting complicated with a series of strong upper troughs and frontal boundaries approaching the area as early as early next week, and so propensity for an increase in rainfall chances and prospects across the area. So kind of a win-win for everyone, but certainly leading to some harvest delays later on next week as well. Sunny, breezy, chilly again for the day today. Matter of fact, cold for the time of year. Just 40 the expected high. The northwest to west wind 10 to 18 and gusty. Clear cold tonight. Light west wind 28. Tomorrow not so chilly in the afternoon. Temperatures moderate to around 60 with a partly sunny sky and increasing southwesterly winds. Lows in the 40s tomorrow night. Windy milder for the day on Friday. Highs up near 70 and into the 70s and a strong south wind for Saturday and Sunday. For Steve J. Broadcasting, I'm your host, Greg Solgay. It's showtime.
Ladies and gentlemen, can I please have your attention? I need all of you to stop what you're doing and listen.
Pipes is writing down a lot of stuff. I'm just going to go from the gut. And joining us now, Coach Bielma, Josh Whitman joining us now.
You get to say all the cool name drops.
Do it.
Brad Underwood, our guest.
College hoops.
How do you lose to Jackson State?
Call up every single person in the media that didn't put Kofi first team All-American. And I don't know, just play like clown noises.
I want to bet the Bears.
Oh, Michael Porter Jr. has been good, but he thinks the earth is flat, so I can't pick him.
Oh, boy.
Throw it up to Kofi, and he's just going to tear the rim off.
How is he so good? All right, Hans, I'm going to mute you for a while.
Okay.
Oh, there's a timeout on the court!
So what we want to do is build a same-game parlay that will win all of us some money.
Maybe Rondale Moore could be Cooper Kupp, but he's not. Is it Instagram?
Yeah.
Is that what IG means?
I think you have to win the Big Ten title to win Big Ten Player of the Year.
Woohoo!
Wow, what a bad take.
And good morning. I'm slowly getting there.
80%?
80%-ish. 75. Let's go 75.
I swear before you turned the mic on, you sounded better.
I did. I don't know why. I must force it more when the mic is on. Maybe I hear the music and I try to out-talk the music.
Maybe I got you to talk too much in the pregame. It's like one of those where you're warming up in basketball, and if you make too many shots,
yeah, don't shoot again.
You almost feel like you've used your makes for the day.
So did you ever, like when I warmed up in high school, I always had to make the last basket.
Oh yeah,
before we went to the bench. Why were we the only ones that did that? Because if everybody wanted to do that, everybody would be standing out there, and the official would probably be like, "Hey guys, we got to get this going." But I was wait till everybody's done, then I'd make a quick layup.
I could be shooting in my driveway now.
Yes.
With nothing on the line at age 31, I have to make my last shot.
You have to make it. And not only did I have to make the last shot, but I had to make the last shot of anybody. Like as soon as everybody was done shooting, I got a quick layup.
I didn't wait everybody out. I just needed my shot.
That makes sense.
The last one that I took to go in.
Yeah, that's what, like the boys, whenever I warmed up with them or they were warming up and I was rebounding, I'm like, all right, don't finish on a miss, right? You can't. Nobody finishes on a miss. I don't know. I made the last one, and it led to like 9 points a game in high school. I mean, I don't know what it did for me, but hey, whatever.
All conference.
Yeah, here we go. Let's go. Must have been a bad conference that year. All right, Derek
the
Piper.
Little Ocala down this year is what they.
Oh boy,
is that the
that's
conference?
how they. Yeah, Little Ocala. It's not even around anymore. How sad is that?
That stinks.
My senior year was the first year of the 3-point line. I mean, that's crazy, isn't it? My junior year, I played without the 3-point line. I mean, that's how old I am. I mean, that's
crazy to think about.
To think about you and Kyle, especially Kyle, has no idea that high school used to never have a 3-point line. That it was my senior year where they developed it. And then it took about maybe one practice for everybody to start shooting from the 3-point line. I mean, that was the end of...
How much of a mental game was that? Or all of a sudden they put it down and it's like, do we need to start taking a lot of these shots now? Or is it...
Well, and it was funny because, I mean, I don't think my coach, he didn't coach for the 3-point line. He didn't. But it's funny how you would honestly, even early on, you wouldn't recognize where you were on the court. Where like today, if you're taking a shot from, if it's 21 foot and you're taking one from 20, you're sitting there going, what am I doing? Back then, you didn't recognize that early, and then you finally were like, well, hold on a second. If I'm going to shoot from this far out, I might as well back up another, foot.
In today's game, whether you're playing youth basketball or all the way up to the top of the NBA, the highest levels of professional, when you run down the floor, you run to the three-point line.
To the three-point line.
Isn't that crazy?
It's changed the game. It would almost be interesting to see one season without the three-point line and just see how it worked. Just to see, like if they said in 2026 in high school, college, and NBA, there will not be a three-point line. It would be interesting to see how that works, but that won't happen because it would bore the masses. There's no doubt about that. What's going on in this Padres-Phillies game?
The Padres are in deep, deep, deep trouble.
Oh.
It's 3-0 early Phillies.
Is that Castellanos?
That was actually Edmundo Sosa.
Oh, Edmundo.
A couple bloop hits for the Phillies, leading to RBIs. And Juan Soto lost one in the sun out in right field that also led to a run.
Thank God we didn't trade for him. San Diego they doubled the lead off the game and did not bring that run home against Aaron Nola. So here we go. I tell you what, Zach Wheeler was unbelievable last night.
Yep.
8 innings, I think, of 2-hit ball.
I think it was 7.
7 innings. And Philadelphia wins 2-0. They go up 1-0. Now they're up 3-0 here in the first inning.
Kyle Schwarber hit
top of the second. My fault.
A country mile.
What did you explain?
So they showed on Twitter last night, knowing that the Yankee Stadium has a short porch in right field.
Right field is like, I could hit one.
You've mentioned that multiple times. Right. The distance of Schwarber's home run was twice as much, essentially hitting it out. If they scooted the fences back another
same distance.
They doubled the fences in right field at Yankee Stadium. It still would have went out.
Oh my goodness! It was the longest home run at Petco. So Kyle Schwarber getting it done. Bryce Harper is hitting what, like you said, 500 or
like
close?
450 in the playoffs.
Wow. Okay. And then tonight, Stros and Yanks.
Okay. Yeah, if the Padres drop this one, going to Philly, already down 2-0, is putting them in a really tough spot.
Okay. So we'll kind of keep you updated on that. Real quick, what we got today, Jonah Wilson. He has joined us before. We kind of call him our Valley expert. The Missouri Valley came out today with their media day and their projections for an order of finish. There's 3 brand new teams in the Missouri Valley. So this is all it's so convoluted now to me in my mind because it used to be like Creighton and who am I missing here? Creighton and Wichita State used to be in the Valley back in the day. But now you've got UIC is in the Valley. Belmont is in the Valley. So some newer teams, Murray State, another one. But we'll talk to Jonah about the Missouri Valley and kind of get an idea of what they're expecting, I know, for SIU and Illinois State. Illinois State, of course, now led by Ryan Peden. He's joined us here on this show, former assistant under John Gross at Illinois. He's not picked to finish very high, so he's got some work to do at Illinois State. But I think everybody kind of understood that. They're going to be a little patient with him. I think SIU, they actually got a first-place vote. I'll throw that out there. I won't tell you where they finished. It was not. I don't get a vote. But you know darn well they would get a first one for me and do it like a big dog. So we will talk to Jonah about that. At 5:30, Jason Patt will join us to talk Chicago Bulls. That starts tonight. I just read Jason Collier from ESPN had written an article about 6 days ago. This is how far behind I am on things. About Ayo and him taking over that role, and had a great comment in there from Billy Donovan about how he basically said, he's filling in for Lonzo Ball, but I am completely confident in Ayo taking the reins and leading this team.
It's crazy that a second-round pick, who they didn't even work out. Now, part of that was they didn't think he'd still be there in the second round when they picked, but now slotting in as their starting point guard going into the season. They're also missing Zach LaVine tonight, who kind of mysteriously is still hurt, even though the season hasn't started. He did have off-season surgery, but a lot of Bulls fans are like, oh, boy, here we go again.
My buddy, Mark Silverman, he texted out today. He's like, it started already. And it was like Zach LaVine is questionable for tonight. Now he's out.
He's going to be out. More usage for Ayo, though.
Yeah.
But excited to talk to Jason Patt, break down the Bulls going into their opener tonight at the Miami Heat.
Okay.
To kick things off.
What I didn't know, because I thought normally during a bye week they just kind of relax, but Brett Bielema, he's media savvy, man. And why wouldn't he? Wants to be in front of every microphone and camera he can get in front of right now. But Brett Bielema, Chase Brown, Ryan Walters, Barry Lunny, they all met with the media today. We'll hear from Brett Bielema in the 5 o'clock hour. I'm to the point now, I don't know what our listeners think when we play like a bulk interview with Brett Bielema. I'm to the point now where I can't hear enough of him. I want to hear what's going on with his team. I want to hear what the plans are on the bye week. I mean, you know, you project this thing out to possibly getting to Indianapolis and possibly playing in the Citrus Bowl or the Orange Bowl or the Relia Quest, whatever used to be the Outback. I mean, count me in with as much news as you can give me. So we'll hear from Brett Bielema next hour as long as talking about the Chicago Bulls. Also, Chase Brown, the social media crew there at Illinois they have like about a 47-second video hyping him for the Heisman, and it's begun. And we have a little snippet from Chase Brown talking about that as well. So a lot to do today, including talk a little Illinois men's basketball. I mean, by the way, you know, we're throwing
this
them in.
This might actually be Jay Lehman approved because it's the bye week, I hope.
I feel like we're just throwing them a bone now. Like, I feel like we need to talk about the 23rd ranked Illinois basketball team.
Just the defending Big Ten champs. Yeah. That's it.
I mean, look, we're going to play a little snippet here from Dane Danger. He could play a big role with this team this year.
He could, and he definitely has the talent as a guy that was committed to Baylor out of high school, a 4-star guy that's very skilled for a big man. Coming out, I got a chance to see him as a prospect on the AAU circuit and someone that can handle the ball for his size pretty well. We'll see if the jump shot's there, but I don't think he necessarily needs to do that. He's just someone that is 6'9", good passer. You can pull him out of the paint and have him facilitate a little bit, but also a good interior scorer, good rebounder. And in contrast to Coleman Hawkins, who we know has a lot of the length and mobility, yes, Dane's going to be able to bang a little bit more in the post, being a more physical defender down low too. So being someone at that 5 spot, we know replacing Kofi Coburn, you're not going to do it with one guy, but he's part of that effort that's going to be, you know, you go into the Big Ten, you're going to have to be able to hold your own at the 5 spot, and Dane's going to play a key role, probably off the bench, but still a important contributor going into this year.
When it comes to football, Derek Piper wants a quarterback to have a solid completion percentage. When it comes to basketball, Tay wants a team to rebound. So if I say to you, Derek Piper, you say then back to me, Lon, calm down. This team will rebound well because.
I think when you look at the guys on the wing, I know Brad has mentioned.
A lot of length.
Right, and Brad's mentioned Kansas as an example. Oh, by the way, Illinois is playing Kansas in a close scrimmage on Saturday in St. Louis. Side note, if this scrimmage, which is unfortunate, we won't get to see it, because who wouldn't want to see Illinois versus Bill Self in Kansas?
Heck yes.
If this was on Amazon Prime, I think Lon would actually get Amazon Prime.
I would actually get it.
Figure out how to watch it, and there he'd be in.
Ahead of the Arizona Cardinals game tomorrow night against the Saints.
But when you have wings like Matthew Meyer, Terrence Shannon Jr., of course they're going to have to do, in particular with Terrence, whose rebounding numbers haven't been tremendous so far in his career, but he's capable. You throw in Coleman Hawkins as well. It's got to be a group effort, and even from your guards, where maybe you have a guy like Sky Clark or Jaden Epps need to go in there and hunt a little bit for some rebounds, because we've seen in the past, Io obviously was very good at that. Andres Feliz could do that as well, even under Curbelo. So now not having Kofi, I think that while we sit there and talk about how good Illinois could be defensively, part of that equation that maybe we haven't spent enough time on is actually rebounding when a team is going to miss a shot. Because if you're giving up a higher level of offensive rebounding percentage, which Illinois has been very good at limiting here in recent seasons with Kofi, that would hurt your defensive effort, even if you're forcing tough shots because of your length.
Now, one thing Brad Underwood, pretty much his entire career as a coach, Stephen F. Austin, Oklahoma State, now Illinois, even before that, one thing that he's always been good at, his teams, is rebounding. They've always been very good at rebounding. I think maybe there was one year, I think, at Illinois where they didn't rebound very well. That was before Kofi. But, you know, it's just one of those where I have trust in this team to rebound. And I think a guy like Dane Danger, you know, if he could go in and get 4 or 5 a game, that's going to help those numbers.
Definitely. I would also throw in Ty Rodgers, because some of the buzz here recently has been Ty's led the team in rebounding in quite a few practices. So we know he's kind of that Swiss Army knife type of guy. Will fill up the stat sheet with a handful of points, some assists, some rebounds. Could lean on him even as a freshman to go in there and mix it up and get some rebounds as well.
Before we hear a little snippet from Dane, you had brought something up that you and Jeremy had done on a podcast.
Yes, we did a podcast on Atlanta Inquirer, and kind of the premise is coming out of this scrimmage on Saturday against Kansas, we'll hear some buzz. Sometimes the teams kind of control what you hear at that point. I know that, Brad, it's some weird NCAA rule. If you're not allowed to mention the closed scrimmage before the closed scrimmage, but then after it happens, then they can talk about it, which is just dumb and weird.
That is kind of weird.
And I know that the national guys usually get some stats and some insight as far as that goes. But if you're an Illini fan out there, what would be the one thing you'd want to learn if you could pick a narrative that comes out of that scrimmage that would encourage you for the start of this season? What would you want to hear after the scrimmage with Kansas?
I've got mine. I would want to hear that the Illinois guards handled the ball fine and controlled the offense well. I think that is a big, big concern for Illinois going into this year without having, from what we've had the past, how many years? Going back to Io and Trent all this time, and Curbelo. I know Curbelo could get turnover heavy. We understand that. He'd get a little ahead of himself. But if there's one thing that you went into a game knowing, you knew that you had solid guards that could handle the ball. I know there was the one year where there were a lot of turnovers between Trent and Io, it felt like, and then they kind of shored that up. But it just felt like going into every game, you kind of knew the mindset of the guards was going to be one where they would be just as good as the other guards on the other teams in terms of running offense, initiating offense, getting out, going, and guarding as well. And I think that's one thing that I'm worried about with freshmen is the idea of not only on the defensive end, are they able to guard and control. And I'll tell you, Kansas is always a team that has really good guards, so I'm sure they'll find out pretty quick. They're going to get thrown right into it. But then also on the offensive end, and I know you've said Ty Rodgers could initiate the offense once. Not once, but more than once. Coleman Hawkins could do it. Terrence Shannon could do it. I'm sure others could get out there and run this thing as well. But I think that would be the one thing. How do the freshman guards look? Because they're going to have to play. It can't be one of those, the guards didn't do very well, so we're just going to sit them on the bench for most of the season. No, they've got to play. So that's probably where I would be at if I could hear a snippet of the scrimmage and find out that's what I'd probably want to hear. And I wouldn't be surprised if I heard that it didn't go that well.
I'm with you on both those things. Obviously, you have the talent with Sky and Jaden Epps, and you throw Ty Rodgers in there as well. But I'll be very interested to hear how that goes against the Kansas team that, while they did lose Oshai Abaji, they lost Christian Brown, some big pieces from their national championship team. They do bring back DeJuan Harris, who's not a big scorer at point guard, but he was an all-league defender in the Big 12. And hearing how they handle a veteran guard who can really suffocate you as an on-ball defender, can Sky and Jaden get to their spots? Can they operate the offense well without turning it over? And we know that just the fact that Illinois wants to play so fast, that is already kind of an interesting mix with a freshman backcourt that usually freshmen turn the ball over higher.
You don't want to go too fast
than most when you look at just kind of the trends in college basketball. So how they handle that, if they were to have a high number of turnovers, I wouldn't completely freak out and say, Illinois season is doomed. But it would be super encouraging if it's like, actually they held their own. They were able to get Illinois into their offense and push the pace without having the ball be turned over so many different times. I think also that was my answer. Jeremy's answer was rebounding, because Kansas usually a physical team, a team that can really hit the glass. And I think that as I'm pulling up the projected depth chart here, their starting lineup outside of DeJuan Harris is their point guard. They go 6'8", 6'6", 6'8", 6'11". So while Illinois has that positional size too, we'll see how those wings and even guys like Coleman Hawkins, Dane Danger can rebound against a Kansas team that's got a lot of size and athleticism too.
Speaking of Dane Danger, speaking of Jeremy Warner, Jeremy caught up with Dane and had a chance to visit with the big boy. Let's listen to what Dane has to say. I know he's ready. He's very ready to get this thing rolling.
Dane, how's it feel just to have this opportunity again? It's been 2 years since you've been able to play on the court. What's this meant?
Yeah, man, this is just this is a blessing to be, knowing that you can be able to play in a few weeks. I've been training for this. I've been trying to just keep my head high mentally, physically as well. You know, and I just been just getting better day by day. Sacking days is just that's my plan right now.
What was the last 2 years like of not being able to do what you wanted to do as a really highly recruited guy?
Yeah. Man, I'm not gonna lie, it hasn't been hard, or it has been hard. You know, just dealing with injuries. You know, it's just been real. It's just been a big process. But you know, I'm just keeping God first with everything. It's all in God's timing. So I try to not worry. I just try to get better every day. Just control what I can control. So.
Coach Alexander said you've worked as hard as anybody he's seen in a year. What's driven you through that? I mean, I'd imagine once you were cleared, you wanted to go, right?
Yeah. You know, just my hunger, just to get back on the floor. You know, I know like a lot of coaches, a lot of scouts and stuff just told me the things I needed to work on. And the things that could take me to the next level. So this past year, you know, I just been attacking that full force.
What are those things, and how did you kind of attack it?
Yeah, just the biggest thing with me was just getting in shape. Coming out of high school, I was a little bit overweight. So you know, when I came off that injury, right before that injury, I actually lost weight, but as I got injured, I put back on weight, and then you know after that, when I came back, I was just like, that's it. Like I'm gonna just get my body right. So that was just the biggest thing, and just defensively, you know, everybody's kind of known me coming out of high school as an offensive guy, big offensive guy. So I felt like being at Baylor, that was one of the biggest things I took from Baylor or learned. It was just the defense, how important that is, how important that wins championships. So,
how would you? I mean, these are two coaches that have done big things. What's Coach Underwood like compared to Coach Drew?
They're definitely two different type of coaches. Definitely two different. But you know, Coach Underwood's definitely pushes me every day in practice. You know, even just some of the little things like leadership. I'm a junior now, so I mean, he wants me to be more vocal out there, help the younger guys. You know, so he's just always on me about the little things. So.
I mean, you've played against some different guys here. I mean, Kofi's a different guy than Coleman. What have you learned playing against those guys, especially Kofi? I mean, an All-American last year.
Yeah, so, like, I mean, I've kind of got it all. Like, Kofi, like, he's, like, really dominant in the post, and then Cole's more on the outside. So, I mean, it's definitely just helped me all around, you know, with just defensive. I took a lot of things from Kofi in the post. Me and Kofi used to actually just hang out and just talk to each other about basketball all the time. So, yeah, it's just been crazy ever since I got here. A lot of new opportunities.
So now you've been practicing for a while here. I mean, what do you think you can give this team this season?
Man, I feel like I can give a lot to this team, defensively and offensively. I feel like defensively, that's one of the biggest things I've been improving. It's just my defense a lot, and just my consistency. A lot of times, like coming out of high school, I really wasn't very consistent with my offense. But now I feel like I'm doing what's best every single time. I'm not wasting no time. So, yeah.
I think you've played 9 minutes. What's it going to be like to play a game?
Man, it's going to be crazy. The all season, I feel like the energy, my energy is just going to be super, super crazy. You know, just from only being able to play that little amount of time, transferring to a bigger role this year. I'll just say my energy. My energy is going to be stupid crazy. So,
do you feel like in the long run that this adversity, the year out, help you like at all? Do you ever think about that?
Yeah, I actually did. I try to not be negative about it. I try to just, you know, stay positive. You know, even when I was at Baylor, I talked to some of the coaches. I asked them, what are some of the things that I need to work on while I'm out, and when I got here. So, you know, I just attacked those things really hard. With me, ever since I was coming up as, you know, a kid, it's always just been about my weaknesses. Ever since training with my dad, we just always focus on the weaknesses. So, yeah.
There we go. That's all I'd do if I was focusing on weaknesses here on the radio show. Dane Dangy, he's good to listen to. You can tell he's ready to get out there.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's been a long time since he's played basketball in a game, and I'm sure he's ready to kind of take that to the next level. But Illinois basketball, man, ranked 23rd, and they're going to find out this year in a hurry how good this team is, including that Vegas trip where they're going to play UCLA and then either Virginia or Baylor. You also have Texas. I mean, they're going to be challenged early before the Big Ten season even rolls around.
Those are some huge tests. UCLA already a preseason top 10 team, so is Baylor, and Virginia's not that far off. Illinois is actually going to be the lowest ranked. Of course, they're in the top 25 of the 4 teams out in Vegas, and Ken Pom loves Virginia. Now, part of that is just they kind of gear toward the knowns, like bringing guys back off of last year's team. I think they're top 10. They might even be 5th on Ken Pom's preseason rankings, which seems high, but I guess we'll have to see how that plays out. Texas, another team that's kind of in that top 10, top 15 range as well. And in terms of Dane, I mean, we saw it work out with a Jacob Grandison where you get kind of that year to, I know it was only a half season because he came in at the semester, but to practice with the team. He mentioned spending time with Kofi there last year. I know that this summer, talking to Jeff Alexander, just the importance and the benefit of going against Kofi in practice, and that Dane actually presented some problems because he can take Kofi away from the paint, and we'll see if that plays out with Hunter Dickinson, with a Zach Edey. And, yeah, it might take some time for Dane to get used to playing in games again, but he's certainly talented and excited to see what he can do.
We have a lot of time to break stuff like this down, but when you look at the Big Ten and you look at the big man, a guy like Trace Jackson Davis, I feel like Coleman almost will have a better shot with him.
Yeah.
To
that's
be
a good
guard
matchup.
him.
Both are long and kind of similar body types.
And then you think of Zach Edey. And there's
nobody's got that one.
There's nobody that has. Like Brad Underwood said, there was a picture of Kofi behind Zach Edey when Edey was posting him up, and you could not see Kofi. And we know how big Kofi Coburn is. That was the first game I had been to with Kofi at State Farm Center. It was at Martin Luther King Jr. Day.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm there watching in person, and Zach Edey and Kofi are coming out of a timeout, not walking together, but really close to each other. I could not believe how small Kofi looked compared to Edey, and then by contrast, how small everybody else looked compared to Kofi.
Right.
I'm like, Zach Edey is a monster. So, you look at a guy like him, I'm not sure what some of the other teams, obviously Hunter Dickinson, I think that's a guy that Coleman could present problems to. And I think Dane can be a guy that can get out and guard that perimeter. I know Kofi couldn't. And that's one of the reasons he's not in the NBA right now. But, Hunter Dickinson, he's starting to hit 3 threes a game.
Yep.
So you've got to go out there and check him. And I think that's where Dane can give Coleman a little bit of a break and spell him during games where you're facing a guy like that, like a Trace or a Hunter, that he's got to get on the perimeter and guard.
I agree. You don't want Coleman to get in foul trouble either. And I think that's a big part of it. I know that Illinois is going to plan to trap the post, in particular against Edey and probably Hunter as well. But the thing you got to make sure is if Coleman can hold his ground long enough to where Edey's not catching the ball literally at the rim, because if you're bringing the double team, it's too late if he's that deep as far as position goes. So going to be very interesting. Of course, there's only one Zach Edey out there.
Right.
So you just kind of got to deal with that. And, the flip side of it is Edey and Dickinson having to guard someone like Coleman at the other end as well. So that trade-off will be very interesting and fun to watch play out.
It'll be funny to hear us complain about having to face Zach Edey when everybody's had to face Kofi for 3 years. I mean, we will find out as soon as that first game against Purdue, when we're sitting here and I'm lamenting the idea of going against Zach Edey, then I will remember what 30 other teams every season had to basically factor. Maybe not 30, but you know what I mean. Harold Reynolds is not here, but Derek Piper is. The San Diego Padres did a little damage in the bottom of their second inning to get back in this thing.
Back-to-back bombs for the Padres on the heels of the Phillies putting up some runs in the top of the second. Then the Padres went back-to-back. I know Josh Bell hit the second one. I forget who the first one was. I think Kyle knows.
Kyle, did you see who hit the
Brandon
first?
Drury.
Brandon Drury. I don't know who
Drury
that is.
in.
Yeah. Might be worth.
They picked him up at the trade deadline from the Reds.
Okay. Look at you coming in hot.
Catcher? No, he's not a catcher.
Third baseman.
Oh,
Okay,
third baseman.
yeah.
Okay. Maybe we do have Harold Reynolds here. Boiler.
Oh. It's not Purdue week.
I mean, look.
We're safe.
It hasn't bothered us yet. Boiler up, man. Illinois just keeps winning. All right, so it's 4-2 now. They're in the top of the third, and Bryce Harper up to bat for the Phillies. Again, Yankees, Astros tonight. Do we have the pitching matchup?
Justin Verlander on the hill for the Astros, and I believe it's Jamison Talion.
Kate Upton.
How do you say that?
Kate Upton in the stands?
Surely.
Maybe a shot of Kate. I don't know how you say the girl's name, the guy's name. Talion? Is that right? Talion.
Yeah.
Good enough. All right, when we return, we're going to keep our focus on basketball. Missouri Valley had their media day today. We'll let you know where Southern and Illinois State are predicted to finish in the Valley, who's expected to win it, what's some of the talent, and some new teams coming in. They're going to play a new format in terms of the tournament. All of that. We're going to pick the brain of Jonah Wilson. He's our Valley expert. We'll do it next. It is The Drive.
Accumulation, preservation, generation. At Busey Bank, these are the principles we use to build meaningful financial partnerships with our clients and their families. With sound advice and vast resources, partner with Busey for a personalized approach to your legacy. Busey Bank, building business, growing wealth since 1868. Proud to be the official bank of the Fighting Illini. Member FDIC.
Long's Garage in Urbana and Jasper Engines and Transmissions offer cost-effective solutions to your present engine or transmissions trouble. Avoid a costly new car purchase or high lease payments by putting new life into your present vehicle. Let Long's Garage install a Jasper remanufactured engine or transmission with a 3-year, 100,000-mile nationwide warranty and available premium service plan. Call Long's Garage at 367-3942. Long's Garage, 217-367-3942.
Need a little good news in your life? State Farm has new lower car insurance rates in Illinois, so you can now get the service and convenience of State Farm agent Kurt Lenschow at an even better price. That's right, State Farm can help you save more cash and get the good neighbor service you deserve. It's the real deal for car insurance. State Farm agent Kurt Lenschow is ready to help you save in Champaign-Urbana. Call Kurt today at 352-1411. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Every moment. Hawkins picked it off. Thought about a three. Drives down the lane. And he slams it in. Every play. Hawkins to Melendez. Every celebration. And the Big Ten championship is in Champaign. Illinois basketball season tickets are available now. Be in State Farm Center for every home game this season for as low as $250. Get your tickets today at fightingillini.com.
Times are tough in Illinois. Thanks to Mike Marin, they're only getting tougher. I'm Cynthia Cunningham. I'm the wife of a retired police officer and spent my life working for seniors so they have the best health care and services. In Springfield, I'll tackle rising costs by cutting gas and grocery taxes. I'll fight for lower health care costs by cracking down on corporate price gouging from drug and insurance companies. And I will always fight to protect a woman's right to choose from extreme politicians. That's why I'm supported by Planned Parenthood. I'm Cynthia Cunningham. My opponent, Mike Marin, is hanging our families out to dry. Marin voted to double gas taxes and against lowering prescription drug prices while pocketing thousands from special interests like Big Pharma and the gambling industry. Marin voted to outlaw a woman's right to choose even in cases of rape and incest. I'm Cynthia Cunningham, candidate for state representative. Tell Mike Marin the game's up. Paid for by the committee to elect Cindy Cunningham.
Congratulations to Sarah Champagne. Sarah Honda has won the President's Award. This is an award recognizing the best Honda dealerships in America. Sarah Honda has achieved excellence in sales, service, and customer satisfaction. When you go into Sarah Champagne, you'll see what winning the Honda President's Award means with their outstanding focus on you. Visit Sarah Champagne and experience excellence with not only Honda, but GMC, Buick, BMW, and Subaru. Sarah Champagne, off Neal at Burwash in Savoy.
PDR Automotive in Urbana is a locally owned repair shop, and they've now serviced over 250,000 vehicles in their near 50-year history. Now, that's more than 4 times the size of a sold-out Memorial Stadium. It's more than all Division I athletes in the country combined. That's more than the entire population of Champaign County. That's more than, well, you get the idea. When you turn the key and the car won't run, call 367-9481. They are what's best for your truck or car. They are PDR.
If you want a steak, I mean a steak, prepared the way you want it, you've got to go to Long Branch Steakhouse. Hi, it's Jay Lehman. It's been over a year since I was introduced to Donnie at the Long Branch Steakhouse in Gifford. And when I want a great steak, that's where I go. And the sides, the Brussels sprouts, the mac and cheese, and the salad with Donnie's secret frog dressing. Long Branch Steakhouse in downtown Gifford. Open Wednesday through Saturday from 5 to 9 p.m. There's always room for the Long Branch Steakhouse.
Hi, I'm Troy Lands, owner of Lands Inc. Is your plumbing system showing signs of cracks, sewer water infiltrating the basement wall? How about the things you can't see, like your underground drain and sewer pipes? A Lands sewer camera inspection and exclusive pipelining process can restore old pipes to like new quality with very little intrusion of your yard, and most projects can be completed in a day. Once installed, this will give you peace of mind that your underground drain and sewer pipes will be protected from root and water infiltration and increase the structural integrity with a one-piece liner. Visit landsinc.com to learn more. I'm Troy Lands, and you can count on my company because you can count on me.
It's time to visit Prairie Gardens, your one-stop fall shop. Greenhouses are filled with mums, cabbage and kale, fresh pumpkins, and more. And inside, a fall wonderland awaits. Handmade wreaths for the door, fall candles and scents, unique home decor at prices you'll love. Save half off all silk stems, bushes, and garlands. Plus, all Halloween decor is on sale. Take an additional 25% off at Prairie Gardens. Locally owned since 1964.
Hey Illini fans, it's your girl Chineo Gumike. Catch Lante and Derek Piper weekdays from 4 to 6 right here on ESPN Radio 93.5.
Listen to me complain. Just go get some outfield help in St. Louis, right? I'm tired of the, well, maybe this kid will work. Maybe this kid will work. Maybe this kid will work. None of them work. Anyway, we're not talking baseball. That's my fault. It is time to head to the Dick Van Dyke Appliance World phone line. We welcome in our Valley expert, Jonah Wilson. What's up, Jonah?
Good to be back on, guys. We're about 3 weeks away from the start of hoops and Illinois football winning. That makes it even all the much sweeter.
I tell you what, it almost literally, it makes it like I'm not yet in basketball mode here. So you're going to have to get me in basketball mode when it comes to the Missouri Valley. I know that Media Day, the projections are out. Who's the team to win this year in the Valley? And by the way, I noticed the last 10 years, whoever has been picked to win the Valley has gone on to win the Valley. So what you're about to tell me is very important. Is it SIU?
I think SIU's close. I think Ryan Mullins has got them knocking on the door, but Southern's going to have to play second fiddle one more year, I think. The Drake Bulldogs with their 3 big graduate students, Roman Penn, Garrett Sturtz, and DJ Wilkins, are going to be the top dogs again in the Missouri Valley. They fell short last year to Loyola, but Tucker DeVries is back, Coach Darren's son, and he's got Player of the Year potential written all over him. But I like the Dogs, and I like Missouri State. I like Belmont potentially in the first year. So after that number 1, I think it could be wide open, and Bradley certainly has a chance as well. I think SIU and Bradley will kind of be vying for that second spot.
I'm in on that. Talk a little bit about like the Valley itself. We got so many new faces this year with UIC coming, Belmont, Murray State, who last year I believe was an NCAA tournament team, and year in and year out they always bring it when it comes to basketball talent. So what is that going to be like to see some of these new faces? Of course, Loyola has moved out of the conference. What will it be like for Valley fans to watch this season?
Well, it'll be a little different. We don't have the firepower at the top this year. I mean, KenPom rankings came out. There's no team in the top 50, but there's a lot of teams in that top 140, and I think that's pretty indicative. It's pretty much wide open after Drake, and I think Belmont and Murray State have the opportunity to play themselves into the top 4 right away. And I like the coaching ads at Evansville and Illinois State. Evansville hired David Ragland, who was a Butler assistant, and Illinois State hired Brian Peden from Ohio State. And I think those two teams, with obviously the transfer portal world that we live in, have the ability to kind of creep up into the top 8. But I like those top 5, 6 teams: Drake, Bradley, Southern Illinois, Missouri State, Belmont, and Northern Iowa. But we can't forget, like you said about Murray State, they come in from the OVC. They won 31 games a year ago. They lost to our St. Peter Peacocks, the tournament darlings, in the second round, and they are consistently a winner year in and year out. So a lot of excitement around the league, a lot of uncertainty too, outside of Drake at the top. So it'll be a fun year again, as always.
Jonah, on the note of Illinois State and Ryan Peden taking over in Bloomington, I know that they're projected towards the bottom of the league. It is going to be a bit of a turnaround for him, but a lot of respect, even nationally, for him as an assistant, what he did at Ohio State, and then even before that on John Gross's staff at one time here in Champaign. What do you think of the job that's in front of him in general at Illinois State, and what the process is going to be like of turning that program around in Bloomington?
It'll take a little bit of time for Peden to develop them into a league title contender. I mean, I really like their guard play pieces. They added Darius Burford from Elon. He came over. He was an all-league player last year. Colton Sandich, who's actually from Bloomington, Illinois. He played 4 years at Western. And Seneca Knight, who played at BYU and San Jose State. So they got a lot of interesting pieces in the backcourt. I think the one thing that might be a little bit of a struggle for the Redbirds this year is front court play. They're still very young and inexperienced on that front. And when it comes to Valley, you've got to have big, experienced bigs if you want to end up playing in the semifinals and finals in Arch Madness. So I think that'll be a little bit of a learning curve there. But excitement is back around the program. Ryan Peden obviously taking over for Dan Moore.
Sure.
And the guard play, I think, has the ability to catapult Illinois State into a better season. And they have a pretty promising non-conference schedule. Peden kept it pretty light with a couple OVC foes. And I think it's a good opportunity to build confidence back in a program that hasn't really seen that in the last 5-6 years.
Yeah, get some early wins and then get a win against Bradley. That'll get you in favor of all those Illinois State fans. Jonah Wilson is our guest. He's our Valley expert. Let me jump in with my Salukis. I know Marcus Damask is back. Lance Jones is back. Those are the two headliners. I know Damask was a first-team preseason all-Valley guy from Wisconsin. But what do you like about SIU? I mean, it feels like to me they can do a little bit of everything. But do they have the size inside maybe to match up with a Drake and some of these teams in the Valley?
Like you said, size is going to be the biggest thing for them. We know they can defend. We know Jones can score, Damask can score, but where are they going to get production from the 5 spot? J.D. Mula, he didn't really have much of an offensive game last year.
Right.
They redshirted Scotty Eboob last year from Chicagoland area. I think he has the opportunity. He's a bigger body at 6'10", freshman, so he still will kind of the growing pains will be there. But Cade Horniker is also a 7-foot freshman. He can kind of stretch the floor a little bit, and I think that's what they need because I think Mullins will roll out a lot of 4-guard lineups and finding a consistent big man and then scoring the ball outside of Jones and Damask was a little bit of a struggle last year.
Right.
So they added Jawan Newton from Evansville, who averaged close to 13 points a game, and then Xavier Johnson from George Mason will kind of allow Lance to play off the ball a little bit. So scoring and a consistent big man, I think if SIU can find that, I think they can hang right there with Drake this year.
Sweet.
Jonah, I know you mentioned earlier that you still like Murray State despite losing their coach. They had a couple of players hit the transfer portal and follow him to LSU as well. It's kind of odd to see Murray State and Belmont in a preseason projection be middle of the pack in the league because they're similarly always in that semifinal or usually in the final of the OVC tournament. Are people around the league sleeping on them, or are they a little bit more down than what we're accustomed to seeing?
I think the Murray State culture, and you guys know this really well. I mean, they win year in, year out. And Steve Prohm's back in charge. He pretty much had to retool the team from scratch, and they've got a couple really interesting pieces. Rob Perry was freshman of the year a couple years ago at Stetson, and DJ Burns is an Energizer bunny for them last year, the one remaining starter on that team. And Jabari Smith, who his brother Jabari is now in the NBA, Division II transfer from Queens. Another intriguing piece at 6'8". So Steve Prohm can coach, and I think Murray State is. I think people are sleeping on him a little bit. Their whole team was essentially decimated by the transfer portal and Mac Mahon leaving, but you can't count them out. Even new year, new conference.
Sure.
So I expect Murray State to hold their own. Them and Belmont for sure as the new kids on the block.
Wrapping up with Jonah Wilson. Fill me in. I know that it's now a 20-game, I think, conference schedule, adding the 3 new teams, losing Loyola. And then they had mentioned something about a new tournament format at the Mo Valley, which is always the first weekend in March, which I haven't been to forever, which is pathetic. And I need to do that this season. So, by the way, Pipes, I need that Friday off of that March first weekend, although you'll be busy with Illinois basketball, so I'll probably be working here. That's how it works.
We'll figure it out.
But, Jonah, how does it work now with the new format in the tournament?
Well, first off, I think you absolutely need to make a trip down to Old St. Louis because your Salukis absolutely have a chance to make some noise this year. And very confident not picking them to play on Thursday this year. So tournament format's just a little bit different. So all 12 teams will play, and typically it's the first 6 will get double byes into the quarterfinals. We'll get a bye into the quarterfinals. This year, the top 4 seeds will get a bye into Friday's quarterfinals. There'll be 4 games on Thursday, 4 games on Friday, and then obviously semifinal and championship play. So more basketball in the Lou. Cannot
I love
complain.
it, man. I love it. Still important to get that first 4 bye, and I think a team like SIU has a really good chance of doing that. Jonah Wilson, we will catch up with you when the season begins and gets on down the road. We'll kind of catch up again and get an idea of how Ryan Peden's doing at ISU, and also our guy Brian Mullins down at Southern. We always appreciate your time, buddy. Great job as always, and we'll visit soon, my man.
Take care, fellas. We'll see you.
Thank you, buddy. That is Jonah Wilson covering the Missouri Valley for us. He does a great job. And, of course, need to get Illinois State back and going again. Getting a little fire going up with the Redbirds around here. I know my brother is a Redbird, and he started to talk smack today, and I'm like, just probably stop. I mean, you're going to be ranked. You're going to be picked like 10th and Southern's 3rd. And he's like, all right, I'll stop. But maybe one day we'll get Illinois State back up there with my Dogs. And let's be honest, the Dogs haven't exactly dominated lately, so this year would be a good year for me to maybe take that Friday off and sneak down to St. Louis. So we'll maybe work on that. We got a long
We'll have to
time.
coordinate with the Illinois.
Yeah.
We'll see what's going on with the Atlanta basketball schedule. We'll make it work.
We'll call Derek Burson. Or who would we call? Who's the director? Why am I forgetting all of a sudden? Director of basketball operations.
Oh, Joey Biggs.
Yeah, Joey. Why don't we call Joey and just say you need to shift that, let's say it's Purdue. We need to shift that to a Thursday. I mean, they can do that, right? For us?
You might want to call Kevin Warren.
Oh, that's true. And say, hey, Illinois University plays on Friday. Is there any chance you can move that to Thursday? Because if I said University of Illinois, you wouldn't know what the hell I'm talking about.
Not in our league.
Right. Quick break. Come back and wrap up hour 1 with an idea of what's going on in the Padres and the Phillies. We'll do it next. It is The Drive.
Hey, it's Stevie J. It's time for another Stever offer. The Stever is the program where I give you my money and you spend it and keep the stuff. Say, what? Are you a member? It's free. Go Stever.com. You can join and click accept for Curtis Orchard today. $50 at Curtis Orchard. So what you do is go to GoStever.com, click accept, and you have a chance to get $50 at Curtis Orchard. How about some honey? Some of the best honey in the world. They've got unbelievable assortment of great things. Food, pies, what are you looking for? Curtis Orchard is a landmark. It is an iconic place on Duncan and Champaign. So the offer is $50 to Curtis Orchard. Go to GoStever.com. If you're not a member, you can join and then click accept. You'll get an email tonight telling you if you won. $50 to Curtis Orchard. You'll love it. Your kids will love it. The family will love it. and enjoy. GoStever.com, GoStever.com. Click accept for $50 at Curtis Orchard.
Illini fans, enjoy rooting on the team with great drink specials and prizes from Pia's Sports Bar and Grill. Coors Light buckets, $15 and pitchers for $8. $4 Captain Morgan drinks, get $3 Coors Lights, Twisted Tea, and Dos Equis. The loaded hot dog at Pia's is only $3. Take note, Stevie J Broadcasting has a live broadcast from 4 to 6 p.m. with great giveaways and tickets to Illini games. Wear your orange and blue and go Illini. Pia's, 1609 West Springfield Avenue in Champaign.
Wouldn't it be nice to visit a car dealership where you didn't feel like you were at an auction? Or didn't feel like you were being taken to the cleaners?
I'm going to make him an offer he can't refuse.
Welcome to Sarah Champagne. At Sarah, they offer a one-price promise. Every vehicle at a fair price, no negotiation, only the best price. Sarah Champagne, Honda, BMW, GMC, Buick, and Subaru. SERRA Champagne.com.
There is one name you need to know in car repair in the Central Illinois area, and that's John Marshall. John is the owner of PDR Automotive in Urbana and makes it his mission to know that your car will start when you come to pick it up. John strives for a repair in the most efficient time possible and is the right person to take care of your car. From tires to engine to electrical to the simple oil change. Trust in John at PDR. 1008 North Cunningham in Urbana. John's team will take care of you like family.
You've changed thousands of diapers, played hours of peekaboo and duck duck goose because you do anything for your kids. That's why it's so important to protect them with life insurance from State Farm. State Farm agent Kurt Lenschow will help make it easy and affordable to help you protect your family no matter what the future holds. Because for the people you do anything for, life insurance could mean everything. Call State Farm agent Kurt Lenschow in Champaign-Urbana today. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Hey, Illini fans, it's Max Kellerman. Catch Lon Tay and Derek Piper weekdays from 4 to 6 right here on ESPN Radio 93.5.
I haven't heard that in a while. Yeah, just picturing being at a Chesney concert right now. Cold Bud Light in my hand, about 80 degrees. I'm already tired of the cold weather. I think it's just my cold.
This is what you need.
It is. It really is. Couple cool concerts coming to town. You got Journey coming in March. Journey played a big part in my college days. And then Old Dominion coming. You should go watch Old Dominion. You said, I brought that up, and you're like, I don't think I would know an Old Dominion song. And then I said Hotel Key. And you're like, oh, yeah, I do know that song. I think you would like Old Dominion.
All right.
I mean, they're kind of a hot band right now in the country scene. But, yeah, so they're coming to State Farm Center as well as Journey. Not together, of course. Journey coming with Toto, one of those classic 80s, 70s, and 80s bands that Derek Piper, your mom, would enjoy, and your dad.
I'm sure.
They would
Toto to me is just the dog in Wizard of Oz. That's all I know.
What do we got in terms of the Padres and the Phillies before we catch our final break and come back next hour to hear from Coach Bielma?
It is 4-2 Phillies going into the bottom of the fourth. The Phillies were able to touch up Blake Snell in that second inning. Padres responded with back-to-back home runs, but they need to get some more of the offense going to avoid going to Philly down 2-0.
That would not be good. We understand that. Don't want to go home. I'm sorry. Phillies would love to go home up 2-0. Don't want to go on the road being down 2-0. All right, next hour, we'll hear from Coach Bielma. Also, Jason Patt going to talk some Chicago Bulls. Io getting the start tonight as the Bulls begin their season. Oh, by the way, the Celtics beat the Sixers, so I know that basketball is back. It is the drive. Stupid.
Norm Miller here, chairman of Interstate Batteries. You know, without batteries, life would be pretty lifeless. That's why Interstate All Battery Centers carry them in every size, shape, and style so you can drive, drill, call, film, or do whatever it is you want to do. Stop in today. They've got the power to keep you going. Interstate All Battery Center. Outrageously dependable.
Interstate All Battery Center. You'll find them outrageously dependable just over Interstate 74 at 2504 North Mattis Avenue in Champaign, with batteries for most every application in stock.
Like most banks, we offer an app that lets you do pretty much everything you need from your pocket. But at Iroquois Federal, we believe great banking is less about the app you tap and more about what you tap into. And for us, That's a hometown bank, where decisions are made locally by the same folks you'll bump into on the bleachers at the next big game, providing the hometown touch that's made us part of the community for nearly 140 years. Iroquois Federal. Still friendly, still local, still here. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
When you order a doggy bag from Bulldog Disposal in Mahomet, it's as easy as 1, 2, 3. Step 1. Schedule a delivery of their 6 cubic yard doggy bag at a cost of only $35. Step 2. You fill the doggy bag. Anything other than electronics, appliances, or hazardous materials are accepted. Step 3. Schedule a time for your doggy bag to be picked up. And that's it. The doggy bag is designed to hold up to 1 ton of material. So get a doggy bag with Bulldog Disposal in Mahomet, where it's as easy as 1, 2, 3. Find out more at bulldoggybag.com.
Run to Target, grab your Starbucks, go to your hair appointment, but if you're late, bring your stylist the coffee too. My mom and her team can make your hair long. They have magic hair extensions.
Salon 105 offers more than just haircuts. We are certified in hand-tied extensions. We do waxing, hair coloring, balayage, ombre, and we are up to date on all of the latest trends. Not to mention our team is a lot of fun. Come and see us in downtown Mahomet. For more information, visit salon-105.com.
You're listening to WSJK ESPN 93.5 Tuscola, Champaign-Urbana, your home for the St. Louis Cardinals.
Martial law as a way to intimidate Ukrainians.
Russia has imposed martial law in 4 regions President Vladimir Putin claimed as annexed territory.
I think that Vladimir Putin finds himself in an incredibly difficult position.
Asked about developments in Ukraine, President Biden says it seems the only tool available to Putin is to brutalize individual Ukrainian citizens.
To try to intimidate them into capitulating. They're not going to do that.
President Biden did not answer a shouted question about potentially meeting with Putin at next month's G20 summit. At the White House, Jared Halpern, Fox News.
Ukrainian authorities say Russia has launched more missiles over Ukraine, and they say they shot down 4 cruise missiles and 10 Iranian drones. After the announcement from the White House yesterday, President Biden making it official today, releasing 15 million more barrels from the strategic oil reserve, saying he understands the high prices of gas are impacting millions of Americans.
I come from a family. If the price of gasoline went up at the gas station, we felt it. Gas prices hit almost every family in this country, and they squeeze their family budgets. When the price of gas goes up, other expenses get cut.
The president said months of drawdowns from the reserve is playing a big role in bringing down oil prices and denying that it's political. Former President Trump has answered questions under oath in a lawsuit filed by E. Jean Carroll, a magazine columnist who says he raped her in the mid-1990s in a department store dressing room. Trump has called the allegation a hoax and a lie. Wall Street stocks lost ground as more earnings reports rolled in. The Dow lost 99, the NASDAQ minus 91. America is listening to Fox News.
This view was worth a hike.
Right? And it's a good way to stay on top of my health.
Yes, I'm Cologuard, a prescription colon cancer screening option for people 45 plus at average risk. Have you screened for colon cancer?
Not yet.
Don't wait. It's more treatable when caught in early stages.
Tell me more.
Cologuard is non-invasive and it's used at home. It detects altered DNA in your stool to find 92% of colon cancers.
92%?
Yep, even those in early stages.
This was seen in a clinical study with patients 50 and older. Any positive result should be followed by a diagnostic colonoscopy. False positive and negative results may occur. Cologuard is not a replacement for colonoscopy in high-risk patients. Do not use if you have had adenomas, have inflammatory bowel disease and certain hereditary syndromes, or a personal or family history of colon cancer.
Most insured patients pay $0. Ask your provider or an online prescriber if Cologuard is right for you, or visit Cologuard.com.
I'm in.
The CDC is weighing whether to add COVID-19 shots to the mandatory immunization list for children to attend school.
An approval would allow states to mandate the shots for school, but a leading vaccine expert, Dr. William Schaffner of Vanderbilt University Medical Center, predicts most states are likely to keep COVID vaccines optional.
My personal expectation is that there will not be a rush to mandate this vaccine, if for no other reason that it continues to be, at least in some quarters, rather controversial.
Florida Surgeon General Joseph Ladapo tweeted that his state will not mandate COVID vaccines for school children, regardless of what the CDC advisors recommend. In Atlanta, Jonathan Seri, Fox News.
Two major discount airlines are a step closer to merging.
Shareholders of Spirit Airlines have approved its sale to JetBlue. The $3.8 billion deal faces scrutiny from antitrust regulators. Spirit finally agreed to accept JetBlue's offer after originally agreeing to sell itself to Frontier Group back in February. JetBlue's offer was about $1 billion more than Frontier's. The airlines expect to close their deal no later than the first half of 2024, though they say the process of combining the operations of the two airlines could take several years. Jenny Cosola, Fox News.
A man with a distinctive tattoo on his back is suing Cardi B after he says he was humiliated when she misused his likeness for a sexually suggestive mixtape. Kevin Michael Brophy has filed a $5 million copyright infringement lawsuit against her in Southern California. He claims he didn't consent to such a use of his likeness. Cardi B says an artist used only a small portion of the tattoos without her knowledge. Her lawyers say the model who posed for the mixtape photo was black, while Brophy is white. I'm Lisa Lacera. This is Fox News.
Hello again, everyone. Let's check weather for Eastern Florida, Champaign-Urbana, and this Saturday. The last of this cold weather pattern sticking around for the day today. We'll be off and running into an increasing southwest wind flow. Temperatures will begin to moderate for the day tomorrow and finally back to and above seasonal expectations on a milder Friday. Big warm-up ahead for the weekend. A milder weather pattern next week, and it'll likely lead to some harvest delays as well, but much-needed rainfall. Drought-easing rains for much of the Corn Belt westward down to the plains. That's scheduled again for next week. Sunny, breezy, chilly for the day today, just 48 the expected high. Average high this time of the year around 65. That northwest to west wind 10 to 18 and a bit gusty. Clear cold tonight, light west wind down to about 28 tomorrow. Temperatures moderated in the afternoon with a partly sunny sky, increasing southwest wind, high around 60. Lows into the 40s tomorrow night, partly cloudy near 70 on Friday, into the 70s Saturday and Sunday, with increasing rain chances for Monday and Tuesday of next week. For Stephen J. Broadcasting, I'm meteorologist Greg Solgay.
Ignition sequence start. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Liftoff.
Check. I literally just create madness.
Well, they're up.
I'm going to go off here.
They don't have a great quarterback.
I got to take a break. I'm getting in trouble.
To win the Big Ten, you first got to win the West.
Bad Bunny.
Have you heard his name in a while?
No.
Has it bothered you?
No. Defensively, they got to come in with some confidence.
Is that even analytics?
I'm in a parking garage, kind of lost.
Terrence Shannon, Matthew Meyer, R.J. Melendez, Coleman Hawkins.
These trophy presentations aren't over. I didn't come here to go 5-7.
I'm so proud of Illinois football right now. I'm so tired of Joel Embiid.
We're not taking Patrick Corbin.
I want to bet the Bears.
Oh.
You are Reba McEntire's niece.
Roshan Russell.
Coach Bielema.
You no longer salute to yourself.
What?
We got all kinds of things for you here.
There's a lot of glass.
Oh.
Guys, we have breaking news.
Uh-oh.
It's The Drive.
Smack dogs. Oh, you know what I need? I think what it is, I need a night of nothing but like 80s rock as loud as I can hear it in my ear to blow this crap out of my head. That didn't sound right. You know what I mean, though?
No, I get what you mean.
Just to get me back to feeling like I'm normal again in life. Just some AC/DC, some Scorpions, some GNR, some Motley Crue, some Rat, just a little Great White. Just as loud as I can get it. And I just sit there and just hear it. AC/DC.
Rock the sickness to its core.
Just get it out. Get out of here. And then I wake up the next morning and I'm like, hey, I'm Lon Tay. I can talk again. But I can't talk right now. All right, Wade on the U of I Illini Lake text line. By the way, good evening. It is The Drive with Tay and Piper. I'm Lon Tay, Derek Piper. Kyle Tosk is here to our right, chipping in with baseball. Elements, I guess, when needed. Someone, Wade, that was, not someone. Wade, I called you a someone. Asked about Georgie and Kofi. I know Wade had asked this about a week ago, and we forgot to answer it. So where is Georgie, and where is Kofi?
I wish I had a better answer than what I'm about to give because, honestly, I don't know. In looking up Georgie, I haven't seen anything on Kofi. Now, he was, as far as I understand it, was hoping to get invited to an NBA training camp. He didn't. He was on the Jazz Summer League roster but didn't get invited to their training camp, didn't get invited to any others.
Wow.
I think he was waiting to get a G League contract because knowing the proximity to the NBA, we saw it with Malcolm Hill last year. When you have injuries, when you have openings on the roster, he could get called up. But that has not been the case. I know that he had at least one. I imagine there have been other professional opportunities that he maybe bypassed. I had heard earlier in the fall that China, there was maybe a contract on the table for him to go to China, and he decided not to do it. So have not seen anything on Kofi.
I hate hearing that.
Yeah. Georgie was in the G League last year. I believe it was in Grand Rapids, somewhere in Michigan.
That sounds right.
On a G League team. And there was a report back in August that the College Park Skyhawks acquired his rights. They're the G League affiliate for the Atlanta Hawks, but he didn't ultimately make their roster. So, like Kofi, don't know what's currently up with Georgie and where he's going to be playing this year either.
Well, I hate this for Kofi especially. Well, I mean, I hate it for
two-time
Georgie
All-American.
too. Yeah. And to the idea of not knowing where you're going to be right now. And if you were here, you'd probably be making 7 figures NIL. And I don't say that to rub that in. I don't. I just hate it for him. So
it's the truth.
It's tough.
And he also wouldn't have been able to finish his degree.
Right. Well, hopefully he'll land somewhere.
I mean, he'll be able to land somewhere just fine. I mean, you go overseas, there's a lot of opportunities to go overseas, and someone will want that dominant force. And Georgie will have plenty of appeal, I would imagine, too. And Euro basketball overseas somewhere, too. Just hope it works out for them.
He's the crowd favorite wherever he goes, right?
Absolutely.
They're fan favorites. So, all right, switching to Illinois football and the current football players. Chase Brown is up for a Heisman candidate. And he's a guy that leads the country in rushing. I think it's 1,509 yards. He's already at 1,500 yards. Like, I remember saying, all right, if Chase goes over 1,000, that will be the second straight year, and he joins Robert Holcomb, and there was one other running back. Was it LaShore or Mendenhall or one that had two back-to-back 1,000-yard rushing seasons, and he's already at 1,509.
It's incredible.
He could get to 2,000.
Yeah.
I mean, will he get to 2,000?
So you've got 5 games left at his pace of going over 100 each game. I know it would be tough against Michigan in particular, knowing their defense, but
then he's
why
got
couldn't he?
Northwestern. He could run backwards for 400 yards. I mean,
Purdue's going to have a hard time stopping him. Nebraska's defense isn't that good either.
I'm telling you,
he'll get to 2,000 if he stays healthy.
What is Kyle? Can I put this on you? What is the all-time record for single season rushing record at Illinois? I think Robert Holcomb has it, but I could be wrong. Or did Richard get it? Well, and then think about this: if Illinois gets to Indy and then plays in a bowl game, that's 2 more games.
It's true. I wonder if it.
I think they count.
They count, contrary to Major League Baseball with Pujols' home runs.
That's going to be a text to Kent Brown to find out. Does the bowl game and the Big Ten championship, if they get there, count on the season for Chase Brown in terms of total? But look, he's getting to 1,059. Wow, I'm blowing this way out of. That's my fault. Man, was that really bad on my end? All right. That's my bad.
So, no, it would be pretty hard to have 900 rushing yards in that last 5 games.
I don't know, but if they count the other 2.
Right. If there is a bowl game and also a conference.
See, that even blew my mind saying 1,500. I should have known something was wrong when I was like, does he have 1,500 yards? 1,059. All right, Kyle, what do you got?
Single season rushing record for Illinois is Michael LaShore, 2010, 1,697.
Okay. All right.
Centennial, stand up.
Yeah. So he's essentially 600 away from that.
Right. Robert Holcomb holds the career rushing yards record with 4,105.
Okay. My fault to every listener out there. I don't know.
It's fine. Hopefully the Heisman Committee was listening, and whether there is factual or not, they need to take under consideration that a back already has 1,500 yards on the ground.
My goodness, Lante, that's pathetic, man. That's one of the worst things I've done in 12 years here. But, yeah, that's how much I like Chase. Well, here's what the University of Illinois put out for Chase Brown.
This guy, Chase Brown's just too big, too physical. He runs behind his pads really well.
I think he's a blend. Chase is his own unique animal. And I mean this with all due respect. He's a good player right now, but he's getting better every game.
Brown doesn't need much room. He just needs a little bit of a sliver to stick his foot in the ground.
All right, a little Heisman hype video for Chase Brown, trying to get him and that Heisman finalist, one of their three, I guess they always welcome out. They asked Chase Brown about this today.
The media team's crushing it, and like you said, the whole website, and then just getting national media members to start paying attention, because fact of the matter is, like, I was under recognized coming into the season, and I doubt anybody expected any of this happening right now. So right now it's just me focusing on what I can do on Saturdays, and allowing them to kind of take care of that, and they're doing a great job.
Yeah, Chase needs to hire me as his Heisman. Yeah, he's got 1,500 yards. What, he does? All right, yeah, that's pretty impressive. Ryan says per ESPN, and of the bowl games and championship game do count towards single season stat. I thought they did. So, he's been, 8 games over 100 yards already this year. And if he's, it's 8 straight. 7, but he had one last year So 7 this year. So let's just essentially say he goes over 100. Let's say 130. Well, no, he's averaging 146 or something, or even more. So if he goes 150 the rest of these games, and what'd you say is 5 left in the regular season?
That's right.
So that would be 300, 450,
750.
Is that right?
5 times 150, 750.
Okay, so, man. And then if you add another 100 in the Big Ten championship game and then 200 in the bowl game, we're going to get to 2,000. We're going to get there, guys. We are going to get there. That's what I say to that. All right, Brett Bielema shocked me today. He met with the media. I did not know he was going to do this during the bye week. Of course, he was out recruiting Sunday. He was out recruiting Monday. And he's going out recruiting, I thought, today and tomorrow is what he had said, but maybe he's pushed that back to go out tomorrow and Friday. But he did have a chance to meet with the media today.
On the note of recruiting, we should maybe mention those that follow it closely, the wide receiver out of Chicago Simeon, Malik Elzy, who committed to Cincinnati. Illinois was in deep on that. He decommitted last night, and all the big eyeball emojis popping up for Illinois on that one.
This won't end well for Illinois.
No, that's not true. That's going to end well for Illinois.
We shall see.
I mean, come on, there's a reason he decommitted, right? Although a lot of big boys wanted him. So I'm sure there's a lot still in it for him. I think he's the 4th-ranked player out of the state of Illinois. And he's seeing what is happening right now with Pat Bryant and also Brian Hightower and Isaiah Williams. I mean, all 3 of those receivers doing some work. So, obviously, Tommy DeVito.
Oh, having a quarterback matters.
No, it
changes
does.
The perception, the production, changes everything, apparently.
Unbelievable. So, yeah, come on down, Malik. Of course, he doesn't know yet who the next quarterback will be for Illinois, so that could be a question mark, obviously, for him as he's looking. I don't know how good Cincinnati's doing right now. Obviously, they were really good last season. I don't know, have they taken a major step back, or?
I don't believe they have. I'd have to look it up.
Okay. What's their coach, Day? Is that right? He was at Ohio State?
Luke Fickell.
Or Luke Fickell, I'm sorry. He's at Ohio State. Day. This cold medicine's doing something to me. It's really doing something to me. Yeah, Luke Fickell was at Ohio State.
I believe they're 21st in the country.
Okay.
I don't know if they've lost yet. I think they're still undefeated.
Okay. Well, then they're still getting it done, so that's interesting. Interesting that he's decided to step away from that. I need to step away from talking and listen to Brett Bielema. Here's a quick snippet. Not quick. Few minutes. Here's your head coach.
I know it just got announced a little bit ago. Brett and his crew and a lot of people in the university DIA created a website that chasing history really for Chase Brown, a guy that from a year ago to where we are today has done a lot statistically, but also just for me as a head coach, the things he does every day in our program, the way he lives, the way he trains, the way he works with an offense, to have a new offensive coordinator really to adapt as quickly as he did to that, which was kind of a different run game. There's a lot of carryover, but I just thought he's really proven to me how professional he is. Obviously, he has another year eligibility that will become a topic after the season, but for right now, just letting him chase history, as many things as he's accomplishing in the 7-game window that we've had. Wanted to give him due credit from obviously the highest award in the land that everybody talks about is the Heisman, but I've had several times in my career where we may have one, sometimes two running backs on the Doak Walker, which I think signifies truly what a running back is all about. Obviously, to recognize as the best running back in college football would be pretty special, and I think he's in the hunt for that because of what he's done. He's the first to give credit to his teammates. So give a little bit of moment about him, and then offensively and defensively to see Pal Cho and Johnny Newton, two guys get nominated on honor roll for by the Lombardi Award is really kind of awesome to see and witness, to see in the back end Quan and Spoon both get accolades for their performance, what they've done, and then Johnny Newton especially, and I would tell you Keith Randolph, even though maybe he didn't get some of that stuff yesterday, the way Keith has played the last 2, 3, 4 games, he's really joining that atmosphere, and then a bunch of other really good players. This is just all-American stuff, right? Like when the time comes for all-conference recognition, I think we have a lot of guys that have continued to do very, very well. So this week we're going to we took it easy on him. Sunday we did our normal routine. Monday we gave him the entire day off, as NCAA rules allow us to do. Got a good work day in yesterday, especially with our Devo guys. Today we did basically our twos became our ones. So a lot of great work out there with our twos that normally don't get as much as our ones do during the course of the week. We had our Devos become our threes and fours became our twos at practice today. We did good on good indoors there, and it was just a lot of really good work. Tomorrow we'll jump into our Nebraska prep and allow us to get a jump start on them. Obviously they're in a bye week as well, so there's really no new film coming in, and they have changed a little bit after the transition with Scott to the new way of doing things there. Really has affected everything, offense, defense, and a little bit on special teams. So excited about that. With that, I'll open up for questions. I think you're also talking to our coordinators and Chase later today. So open it up.
Brett, what changes with recruiting when you go out with a ranking 6-1? How's that impacting?
Yeah, it really from the pilots that we hop on the plane with to the schools that we walk into, everybody just is a lot more aware of Illinois football than ever before. Well, I'm talking modern times here, but there definitely is, even with recruiting. I took Pat Evelton on the road with me strictly because we could meet quite a bit about our current roster. We have three things facing us, as we have success. There's the COVID year guys that have bonus years because of COVID. There's guys that legitimately have opportunities if they want to go into the NFL. It's just whether or not they'll be in a position that they can be happy with. And the third one, obviously, is just the true portal world, right? Like, I'm sure we're going to get surprised by somebody. We don't have a lot of guys leave this program. I think we take care of them well. Josh affords us to treat our players very, very well. I think as coaches, they know they're getting coached every day. So those are some challenges, but I think at this time of the year, a lot of times recruits change their minds. We've seen that recently in the last literally 24 hours, where we can see people that that we've had interest in, and maybe they've had interest. We're just kind of a different Illinois than we were last June. So hopefully that draws people's attentions.
With Gabe, obviously you knew he had talent when you got him, but what stands out about what he's been able to do in these first 7 games? Then, do you remember when you got the call from him that he was in, and kind of what that moment was like? Yeah,
Gabe, was kind of a unique story. Everybody's recruiting story is unique to them. I always tell kids, don't worry about your recruiting story because everybody's is a little bit different. I remember getting a call from Gabe. I've said this before. My boy Jack Daniels is watching him in basically a scouting game, and he called me from the field and said, "Hey, this guy here might be worth looking at." And then we couldn't find his huddle film because it wasn't available on normal huddle, so we had to go through schools that they played against. We had a bye week coming, so I sent Aaron Henry down on Monday. I won't say what Aaron said when he called me, but he said this looks like one of our guys. He's just a very impressive, physical-looking person. And then the recruiting process started, and I remember getting on the phone with him. I remember, he has a brother who's heavily involved in his life. His mom is an incredible woman. I think when you go on a recruiting visit as a head coach, you only get a chance to do this one time, where you get to go to their school, their home. And when I walk into Gabe's mom's house, there's a room of 20 to 30 people from the community, people from the neighborhood, and you realized what kind of person you're getting. And then when we got him here on campus and saw the physical skills that we knew was on the film, but when he called me to tell me, it was kind of a gradual process. I think it really got down to us in Tennessee for the most part at the end, and there was a couple of nip and tuck days, but we just kept battling, and I think he saw the opportunity that we had and presented, and hopefully he continues to play that way.
What stands out about what he's given you, especially with the
Gabe is extremely powerful. For a freshman to be as powerful he is in the way he plays, he's also very coachable. I think Kevin would tell you, he just naturally takes things very quickly. I remember watching film early in fall camp. He knew that I'd coached for the Giants outside backer, so I told him I'd had a bunch of drill tapes. He just showed up one day, and I showed him access to some drills that we did every day in the outside linebacker room. And literally, I only had 20 minutes before my next meeting, and of course he would have went for 2 hours. And he goes, "Where's that at? Where can I watch that?" And he wanted to watch all of it, right? I had probably 5 to 6 hours of film tape, and he immediately wanted access. He's an incredible sponge.
Johnny Newton has kind of said immediately he didn't know how he was going to fit in a hot man front 3-4 scheme.
Yeah.
And have you been pleasantly surprised over the last year and a half how he's been able to progress in that kind of a scheme?
Yeah, I think kids, until they're in systems and in moments, they don't really, they're based more of what they've learned off Madden than anything, right? And when Johnny, during the spring of our first year being here, he kind of reminds me, I tell the scouts when I talk about Johnny, he reminds me a little bit of a Malcolm Brown type. Malcolm was a first-round draft pick out of Texas, was a very powerful, athletic, really good in tight spaces. And Johnny's got the ability to convert early and get vertical. I think it was the Indiana game, his first real breakout game. I believe he had 11 pressures. I think 8 of them were on first down. So he studies the game well. It'll be 10 o'clock watching a Monday Night Football game, and I'll get a text from Johnny say, "Hey, did you see that club rip, or did you see that swing chop, or whatever?" Right? He's just always about ball. He's very mature, and for a skill set, he probably does have the unique ability to be able to play down in a 3-down. And then if the next opportunity gets in the NFL and he does it with us, he can play 3 technique to shade. So he's really versatile in that regards.
That is Brett Bielema. We'll hear the rest of that as we move along this week. But, of course, talking there about Johnny Newton, a guy that watches a lot of NFL. You see that from a guy like Darren Williams is a guy that pops in my head, a guy that watched a lot of NBA when he was at Illinois. He used to talk about that. And those are the guys that not only want to get great right now in college, they want to know how or what it takes to be great in the NFL. And a guy like Johnny Newton, who's got a big future ahead of him, is, I think, a guy that he's going to be one of those next guys we talk about, he and Keith Randolph, doing damage at the NFL level like Akeem Spence, a guy like, who did I just see the other day? Ward.
Jihad Ward.
Jihad Ward's still doing things. So Whitney Merciless for years. Simeon Rice. I mean, there's been a lot of those defensive tackles, defensive ends that have done some damage in the NFL level. I think Johnny Newton and Keith Randolph are going to be 2 guys that are doing the same.
Yeah, absolutely. Johnny Newton, I know, is one of the highest graded defensive linemen in all of college football on Pro Football Focus. We talked about the
That's awesome.
midseason All-American list that he's on, and Keith is probably deserving to be in roundabouts of that conversation as well with what he's doing. But, yeah, and I know you mentioned Darren Williams. Io used to talk a lot about studying the point guards in the NBA too, and it definitely crosses over to football where you're seeing the techniques, you're seeing the way that they are able to get pressure up the middle, just do different things as far as perfecting their game, and those that are watching the highest level players and really studying it are able to benefit off of it.
And look at you being a professional saying Io, because guess what? He's getting a start tonight.
He is.
And when we come back, we're going to catch up all about Io and the Chicago Bulls. Jason Patt of bullsblog.com.
Blogabull.com.
Dang it. Blogabull.com. He is going to join us to chat Io DeSumo and also the Chicago Bulls as they start their season tonight. We'll do it next. It is The Drive.
Illinois football is back.
Shop at Game Day Spirit this fall and gear up to support your Fighting Illini football team. With great football designs and brand new apparel from top brands, they're the one-stop shop to get everything you need this football season. Shop with them at the corner of Neal and Kirby in Champaign, 6th and Green in Campustown, and online 24/7 at GameDaySpirit.com. Game Day Spirit, where Illini fans shop.
It's time to visit Prairie Gardens, your one-stop fall shop. Greenhouses are filled with mums, cabbage and kale, fresh pumpkins and more. And inside, a fall wonderland awaits. Handmade wreaths for the door, fall candles and scents, unique home decor at prices you'll love. Save half off all silk stems, bushes and garlands. Plus, all Halloween decor is on sale. Take an additional 25% off at Prairie Gardens, locally owned since 1964.
At the Long Branch Steakhouse, you know about the incredible steaks cooked to perfection. But did you know you can have your own private holiday or Christmas party at the Long Branch in Gifford? If you have a company party that you're planning, you can rent the whole place on a Sunday, Monday, or Tuesday night. To plan your event between 25 and 50 people, call 217-568-7722. We did it. It was fabulous. The Long Branch Steakhouse for your Christmas or holiday party. Limited nights are available. Call 217-568-7722.
If you're in the market for a new car battery, you could go to one of those big box stores, except there's no guarantee you'll be served by an actual car expert.
Clean up in aisle 3.
You could pick a battery off the shelf, except it might be close to expiring. Or you could just come into Interstate. Don't make a big box store blunder. With competitive prices and a more personal, reliable approach, Interstate Batteries is the clear-cut choice if you want to guarantee yourself a new and trustworthy car battery. They're open and ready to serve you at 2504 North Mattis Avenue in Champaign.
When you're looking for a business to work with, you choose someone local, someone who's terrific at what they do. A company that helps others in need in Champaign-Urbana, and a company that stands behind what they do. That company is Roof Doctors. Roof Doctors has been keeping the rain out for over 30 years. Randy and Tammy and their family work hard to not only make sure you're 100% satisfied by their work, but that they also strive to have a positive impact on Champaign-Urbana. Roof Doctors in Urbana, they make you their number one priority.
BMW, Buick, GMC, Honda, and Subaru. Welcome to Sarah Champagne. We can handle all your car repairs on site, including paintless dent repair, bumpers, windshields, everything in between. We have an amazing selection of new or pre-owned vehicles to choose from. Shop from home and buy online or reserve your vehicle before it hits our website or dealership. Sarah Champagne is home of the Sarah One Price Promise, delivering an honest and transparent buying experience. Hurry in or shop online at sarahchampagne.com.
Kelsey Furniture in downtown Tuscola sells Tempur-Pedic beds. What's it like?
I'm going to tell you right now, Stevie, that thing is the best thing I've ever slept on in my life. My wife and I both have said we've never had better night's sleep. And the people at Kelsey's were fantastic. Brian is the guy that helped us. You know, as much as I did my research, he had a world of knowledge about beds themselves. Oh, man, it's like sleeping on a cloud, man.
Kelsey Furniture, downtown Tuscola.
Hi, I'm Troy Lands, owner of Lands Inc. Your heating and cooling system works hard for you all year long to keep you and your family comfortable. That's why it's important to have it maintained and serviced regularly. Our techs are ready to help you with all your indoor air quality, humidity, and filtration needs. Visit landsinc.com today for specials on a brand new train system for your home and to see for yourself why it's hard to stop a train. At Lands Inc., our commitment is to you, the customer. I'm Troy Lands, and you can count on my company because you can count on me.
Hey, this is Ben Grice at the Humble Hog in downtown Paxton. And if you haven't been up to Paxton for our barbecue yet, let me tell you, you don't need a reservation. Just come on up. Barbecue with us is about as casual can get. We've got all your favorites. We're talking brisket, pork, amazing smoked turkey, our sausage. And while you're there, be sure to try the Paxton Punch. You can thank me on that later. Check us out online at humblehogbbq.com.
Flowers equals smiles equals happiness. Think love with flowers. The Blossom Basket florist can put a smile on everyone's face with a beautiful spring floral creation. Let their flowers make you a hero. Flowers are always affordable for all occasions, from simple to simply magnificent. Visit them online at blossombasket.com or come into their store at 1002 North Cunningham Avenue in Urbana.
The Blossom Basket florist, the florist you pick.
Run to Target, grab your Starbucks, go to your hair appointment, but if you're late, bring your stylist the coffee too. My mom and her team can make your hair long. They have magic hair extensions.
Salon 105 offers more than just haircuts. We are certified in hand-tied extensions. We do waxing, hair coloring, balayage, ombre, and we are up to date on all of the latest trends. Not to mention our team is a lot of fun. Come and see us in downtown Mahomet. For more information, visit salon-105.com.
Hi, it's Stevie J. Start your day with me along with Diane Ducey, weekday morning 7 to 9, here on ESPN Radio 93.5.
We got a game in San Diego, boys.
Tie ball game?
Juan Soto just tied it up. Or did they take the lead?
I think he just tied it up. They still have now second and third with one out.
Juan Soto, one of those guys not shy about letting everybody know what he did.
True. You know who I wouldn't trade for him?
Who's that?
Dylan Carlson. That's smart.
Touche. Good start by Philly, but the Padres have tied this up, have second and third. We got a ball game here before we go back to Philadelphia. We have, speaking of Philadelphia, the Sixers lost last night to the Celtics. You know, I looked today, I took the time to look today since Jason Tatum, I said that right, was drafted third by the Celtics when the Sixers should have taken him instead of Markelle Fultz. And I thought, you know what? It seems like every time we play Boston with him, we lose. But it's actually 10-10. Like the Sixers have won 10 of the last 20 games. Now in the postseason, the Celtics have won 8 of 9. So that is kind of not a good area, but I thought it was worse than that. But and look, the Celtics had to win last night just to even up the regular season since he came in the league. But still, I just am still frustrated because I'd love to have that dude on the Philadelphia 76ers. All right, it's time to talk Chicago Bulls. Jason Patt, you can follow him on Twitter at Bulls_J. That's J-A-Y, at Bulls_J-A-Y. He's blogabull.com. Jason, how are you, buddy?
I am doing all right. How are you?
Well, I told you on the phone that I'm having the worst show. One of my buddies just asked if I was drunk, and I'm like, no, but I need to be tonight. That's what I need to do. You know what I've got, Jason? I can drink some beer and watch the Chicago Bulls tonight. How excited are you to get this season going for the Bulls?
Well, it would be a lot more exciting if if their starting backcourt wasn't injured. So, I mean, it's always a new season's always fun just to get games going again after a long off season. But Lonzo Ball being out, and now this very mysterious Zach LaVine knee issue. I mean, I know he had the surgery as well, but all of a sudden, out of nowhere, questionable yesterday, now ruled out today. Billy Donovan just gave his pregame press conference and said that he's dealing with soreness and discomfort ramping up. Sounds a lot like what they kept saying about Lonzo Ball, and Lonzo Ball hasn't played since January, so that's not exactly comforting. So while I want to be excited, and I'm excited for Ayo, great opportunity for him, it's still rough when you're starting backcourt, one of your all-stars, dealing with these knee problems after these knee surgeries.
Jason, on the note of Zach being out tonight, obviously that seems to put even more on the plate of Ayo to step up and play alongside DeMar and Vucevic. What does that do for Ayo with Zach out? It seems like maybe more usage for him, maybe more ball in his hands tonight in terms of creating offense.
Yeah, I mean, I would think so, and we'll see with like Patrick Williams as well. The Patrick Williams thing has been a big storyline, and they named him the starter yesterday. A lot of people were kind of surprised after the Javonte Green preseason stuff. But, yeah, I mean, with Zach out, again, all-star player, big-time scorer, that's like 25 points per game. Ayo, after, a lot of hype coming into the season, after a big offseason, put on some weight. He looked really good in preseason. His jumper looked revamped, looked a little bit faster, looked more smooth. And I would love to see him just be more aggressive offensively. We know what kind of a stone-cold killer he can be from his time at Illinois. I would love to see him put more into that. Last year he deferred a little bit, playing with DeMar, playing with Zach and all that. But with Zach out, I would love to see Ayo show some of that Illinois in him, going after his own shots, whether it's driving, mid-range, getting those three-pointers up. So like I said, it's a bummer to have Lonzo and Zach both out, but big opportunity for Io to step up.
Io getting the nod as a starting point guard. Alex Caruso also in the mix for that. Goran Dragic. How much of a leeway does Io have, you think, early on to hold on to that spot until Lonzo gets back, or to really take a stranglehold on it? Or is it one where maybe Billy Donovan plays by ear in terms of, maybe we go Caruso or Dragic if Io starts a little bit slow?
I would think he's got a decent amount just because he got so much starting experience last year, and he played pretty well. He's all-rookie second team. He was playing huge minutes there, and when all those guys were out last season, and like I said, he did pretty well. And now, after he looked good in preseason, after this big offseason, I feel like it would take a decent amount to unseat him. Like, Dragic is a veteran. I think if the Bulls start turning to Goran Dragic as a starting point guard, that's probably this big problem. I don't know how much he has left in the tank. He was all right in preseason after a rough start, and then the Caruso thing is interesting because he's not really a point guard, but he is one of their best players. We know he's one of the best defensive players in the league. So if they do start slow as a team, and with Lonzo out and with Zach struggling, maybe they would try Caruso as far as. But I think Io should have at least a decent amount of leeway here, unless he's just really, really bad. But I'd be surprised if he is.
Jason Patter, guest, blogabull.com. Find him on Twitter at Bulls_J. Spell it out, J-A-Y. Io going into, if you will, his sophomore season. He surprised everyone last year, I think, except maybe him. And, it's just one of those where now people kind of understand that this kid is out there playing unbelievable defense on one end. He doesn't get rattled on the other. Every Illinois fan knew that, but not everybody in the country did, and I don't blame them. What do you expect out of Io in season 2? I mean, it's a kid that worked relentlessly every season he was here at Illinois and just got better and better. Is that something that's easily to do in the NBA, or do you expect, I guess just what do you expect out of Io in year 2?
Yeah, it's certainly not easy playing the NBA.
Right.
It gets better and better. Development's not always linear, but just from what I have seen so far, and again, the work he put in the offseason, getting stronger. He looked pretty fast and explosive when he was running the break in preseason. Like I said, his jumper looks better. That was one of the things. Just with the Bulls' lack of three-point shooting, they're going to need Io to shoot open threes when he gets them, because he shot a decent percentage last year, but there was some hesitation there sometimes.
Sure.
That was one of the question marks coming in, how his jumper would translate, because he did improve a lot over the course of his years at Illinois as a shooter, but would that translate to the longer line in the NBA? And while the numbers were good percentage-wise, the volume was not really there. Would love to see that volume come up a little bit. Again, it looks like this jumper looks cleaner, looks smoother, getting it quick up. So love to see him not hesitate shooting threes. He's got him, take them. Or if he's going to pass them up, be aggressive, driving off those closeouts and taking to the basket. He was one of the best rookie finishers at the rim last year on drives and stuff like that. So, and we know he's got some of that in him. He was a 20-point-per-game scorer at Illinois. We know he's got the mid-range game, so I'd love to see him use that a bit more like he did. He was a clutch killer in crunch time at Illinois as well, one of the best closers in the country. Use that a bit more as well. We'd love to see him diversify his game a bit more and really just take that next step. And then defensively as well, we know he can play the man-to-man defense. Ask Trae Young about that. Obviously, still ways to go in terms of team defense and learning NBA team defense, but I think there's definitely a lot of promise here and a lot of room for Io to grow and just keep getting better and better.
Great stuff.
Jason, you mentioned earlier Patrick Williams, a high draft pick from a couple years ago, missed most of last season, only played 17 games last year due to injury, getting the starting nod going into the season. What type of steps forward are there to take for him to be the type of player the Bulls saw coming out of the draft?
Yeah, with the Bulls situation right now, especially these injuries, a lot of was riding on Pat and Io to take these leaps here. So similar with Io, we'd love to see Pat. I know it's cliche at this point, but just be more aggressive. And we know we've had some of the issues with him playing with DeMar and Zach together. He kind of fades into the background and just kind of sometimes be a little too invisible. Similar to Io, get those three-pointers up when you get the opportunities. If they can get him more chances with the ball in his hands, it was interesting that Billy did move him to the bench for those couple preseason games. He was trying to light a fire on him, maybe separate him from those stars and get the ball in his hands a bit more sometimes, going against second units and lesser players. And I know Billy said that he still wants to try to do that with staggering guys, so to get him more opportunities, even if he is in the starting lineup still, but staggering him with DeMar or when Zach is playing with him as well. So Pat is a huge swing player along with Io. Just if those guys can take leaps, the Bulls are in a little bit better shape, because I know a lot of people are just worried, like, where do the Bulls go from here? They're out most of their draft picks. Vooch and DeMar are in their 30s. We now have this Lonzo and Zach injury situation. So, like, for them to not get totally stuck, they need the young guys to step up. And Pat is one. Obviously, him and I are the two main ones, and then rookie Dalen Terry as well. But we'll see if he gets a chance to.
Jason, DeMar DeRozan had a career year at age 32. By the way, I turned 32 in December, so everybody look out for that. Can DeMar do it again this season? And I know you mentioned in there that kind of the supporting cast is probably key to maybe take some pressure off of him, or with the injuries to supplement him being an all-star level player. What are your expectations on the heels of DeMar having a spectacular season? Can he be that kind of player yet again?
Right. I mean, it's just so hard to be like DeMar, best season of his career, like 28 points a game. And the clutch shooting was the stuff that was ridiculous, like 53, 54% in the clutch on that diet of ridiculously hard mid-range shots. It's hard to be like, hey, DeMar, go do this again, hit at that same efficiency. So, like, I think it's fair to expect maybe come down a little bit. But, I mean, based on how he looked in preseason, he didn't miss a beat. I mean, he still gets guys with this pump fake, getting to the foul line, hitting those mid-range shots. And, I mean, I like to say he's just a master of his craft at this point. With that mid-range shot, with his footwork. So I don't think he's a guy who's going to, like, fall off a cliff. He's still got all that stuff and all those tricks in his bag. We know he puts the work in the summer. Him and Patrick Williams were working out, I know, out in L.A. I can't remember if Io was out there, too, but I know him and Io have been close at times, too. I know DeMar went down to Champaign when Io got honored.
Yep, right.
So the leadership stuff that DeMar shows is huge for those young guys. So I don't know if DeMar is going to do exactly what he did last year with whatever that 8 straight games with like 35 points, 50% shooting. But I think DeMar is still going to have another really big year. And if Zach is still dealing with this knee thing and with Lonzo out, they're probably going to need it. Or hopefully Pat and Io and these other guys can help take some of that pressure off him. But ultimately, I think in crunch time, it's still going to be a lot of DeMar time.
Without a doubt. Jason, Pat, I want to ask you about Billy Donovan. I've always been a fan of his when he was at Florida, of course, and then I know he was at OKC, and now with the Bulls, and I feel like he's done a pretty good job with the Chicago Bulls to kind of get them back to playoff contention. Where are you at with Billy Donovan? You still liking kind of the steps he's taking and what he's doing with this organization?
Yeah, I mean, I think Billy's fine. Like, I think if the Bulls go belly up, if things go poorly, like, I don't know if Billy Donovan's it's going to be like his problem again. When you have these main guys injured already, like, you don't want to blame injuries, but it's tough to win, and especially with the Eastern Conference being stronger here. Like, it's tough to win when you're missing 2 of your best guys, 2 really good players. Like I said, hopefully Zach is not missing much time. Hopefully he'll be back this weekend for this home opener. But like Billy, I wouldn't call Billy like one of like the absolute best coaches in the NBA. I think he's a solid NBA coach. Seems like he's a good players coach and players like him. It is going to be up to him to try to get the most out of these young guys with Pat and Io and figuring out the best ways to develop them and get them in situations. Pat especially there, I think. So like I said, if things go bad, like could Billy wind up being a scapegoat and they move on from him? Maybe, but like it's hard to like imagine him like if things go poorly, that it's his fault.
Fair
and
enough.
if things go bad, that means he's probably doing a good job and pushing some good buttons and getting that development out of some of these guys. So I'm like firmly on that Billy Donovan's a solid NBA head coach. He's been solid with the Bulls, and like I said, I'm not like going to be calling for aspiring if things like start poorly here.
One more for you, Jason. I know last year, some of the frustration why the Bulls, especially in the first half of the season, one of the top stories in the NBA, they struggled to beat the upper echelon teams, particularly in the East. What do you think about the East overall and kind of how the Bulls might shape up? Because the Cavs went out and added Donovan Mitchell. We know Lon mentioned earlier the Celtics, the Sixers, Brooklyn with KD back. There's a lot of players there in the East.
Yeah, I mean, starting tonight against Miami, the Bulls had a lot of problems with them. We saw 2 teams last night, in the Sixers and Celtics. You got the Nets. They have a lot of talent. We'll see. We'll know it's a bit combustible. We'll see how that all works together. The Raptors are good. You mentioned the Cavs. The Hawks traded for DeJounte Murray. The Knicks added Jalen Brunson. So, like, we'll see. There are a lot of teams here, and I'm sure I probably missed somebody here, but like, there's a lot of teams here where you look at maybe like the top 10 or 11, like, could be fighting, and it's the top 10 get into the last 4, the 7, 8, 9, 10 get into the play-in tournament. So I think the Bulls will be fighting for one of those spots. Whether they actually get into the top 6 like they did last year, that'll be tough. I guess I didn't even mention the Milwaukee Bucks, who's arguably maybe one of the favorites. That's one of the teams. That's the team I forgot. Is Giannis and the Bucks in the Bulls' own division. So it's going to be tough, especially with these injuries. I do think the Bulls. I don't think they're going to fall apart. I still think, unless it just goes really bad with injuries, I do still think there's enough talent here that will keep the Bulls in the mix.
Sweet.
For the play-in spot at least. If Zach ends up being all right, and if they get Lonzo back, whenever that's going to be, I'm still guessing it's going to be early 2023. Maybe they could close the season strong. Maybe they could get in the top 6. You never know what can happen else across the league. There are other injuries. Some teams disappoint. So ideally, the Bulls will be fighting for a top 6 spot. But with all these tough teams, the play-in is probably the most realistic. But if they are going strong going into the play-in tournament, maybe they could win a game or 2 there. They get in the playoffs, and maybe they'll be a dangerous team in the first round. We'll see. I guess that's what I'm hoping for, and I would say it's maybe the most realistic outlook on this team. So trying to stay optimistic. Even
I agree.
Jason, I lied. Real quick, one more throw-in. We like to dabble in gambling a little bit on the show.
Oh, boy.
If you were to bet Io, which I'm sure there's going to be a lot of people in this area doing that, points or assists tonight, which direction would you go?
Ooh, man, against Miami, that's tough. I guess I would lean more with assists. I would love to. I don't know if he's going to come out gangbusters looking for his own shot. Like I said, I would love him to. That's what I just talked about is him looking for his own shot. But I know he had a good rapport with Booch last year. Maybe they get a little good 2-man game going, get some assists in the pick and roll and stuff like that. So I'll go with assists. But I would love it to be points because I'd love to see Io just really come out really aggressive overall.
And Jason's phone number, if that doesn't happen, is no. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Jason Pat, great stuff, buddy. @Bulls_J. Again, spell that out, Jay, @Bulls_J. Blogabull.com. Jason, it's always fun to have your energy on our show, man. Thank you for getting us ready to go with Bulls basketball, my friend.
Absolutely. Thanks a lot for having me again, guys. Take it easy.
Okay, buddy. Jason Pat, we'll check in with him again this season. He does an excellent job of getting you ready to go. A lot of energy there. I like your I like that.
I'm on the Io assist.
I like that.
Yeah.
I just made a parlay while we were doing this, and it included the Padres winning, and they are now up 7-4. So that's good. And then I'm like, that's good for the night. That'll be enough betting. And then you said that, and I'm like, oh, no. Oh, hell no. I've got to bet now Io to Sumo. I got to do that. All right, we got to catch a quick break, come back, wrap it up. It's The Drive.
During challenging times, family and health come first. This is Rob Meyer with Provident Financial Group. Many of us have spent the past year feeling a little bit out of control, but there are steps that you can take to plan for a better financial future. Now is the time to take action and create a financial plan that's right for you. Contact us today at 217-366-3456 or online at ProvidentFinancialGroupLLC.com.
Securities and advisory services offered through Commonwealth Financial Network, member FINRA, SIPC, a registered investment advisor.
Thinking of selling your home? Today's market is crazy, but one way you can be sure to stand out is by replacing your old flooring with new hardwood. And the best place to do it is Carpet Weavers in Champaign. Carpet Weavers boast the industry's best brands, including Shaw, Mohawk, Paramount, and more. When it comes to natural beauty and a rich quality, nothing beats new flooring from Carpet Weavers. And they have financing options for your budget, so you can always afford the floor you truly want. Increase the value of your home by installing new, high-quality options from Carpet Weavers. Find out more online at carpetweaversflooring.com.
If you're looking for a space for special events, Homegrown Restaurant is now booking. Catering events, banquets, weddings, holiday parties, taking your reservations now. Homegrown is a farm-to-table restaurant at the Atkins Golf Club at the University of Illinois that has plenty of terrific space for that special day with incredible photo opportunities around the golf course. And they can seat up to 200 in their beautiful banquet room. So call Homegrown today, open 7 days a week from 11 a.m. to 10 p.m. right off Route 130 and Windsor Road in Urbana. Open at 10 a.m. on Saturday and Sunday for brunch. For more, visit eatathome.com.
It's the most enchanting time of year. Pumpkins, gourds, and mums appear. And you can get it all this fall at Prairie Gardens. Create your dream garden with an explosion of color with the prettiest mums around. All on sale. And you'll love the fresh cabbage, kale, and pansies. plus a bounty of pumpkins and gourds aplenty. With PG Plant experts always on hand to answer your garden questions. At Prairie Gardens, locally owned. Plant experts, extraordinary gardening, home decor, and more.
PDR Automotive in Urbana has been providing quality auto repair service for almost 50 years. Trusted by AAA Motor Club, PDR employs ASE certified technicians that use the latest in diagnostic equipment. They offer nationwide warranties and are even authorized to perform vehicle maintenance that won't void your factory warranty. Check them out 24/7 online at pdrauto.com. When you turn the key and the car won't run, call 367-9481. They are what's best for your truck or car. They are PDR.
Hey, Illini fans, it's Max Kellerman. Catch Lon Tay and Derek Piper weekdays from 4 to 6 right here on ESPN Radio 93.5.
Can I say this? I've got a little bit more energy today. I know my voice has started the show at 75. Now we're down to about 60 again. But I can feel I've got more energy in my body.
That's good.
One of my buddies asked if I was drunk because I couldn't get anything right last segment. No, that's not the case. But I like the idea that I've got some energy. And tonight, oh, yeah. Kyle, do you have any idea who this is?
No.
If I said blank crew.
I'm going to embarrass myself with the old music.
If I said blank crew, who would it be?
I don't know.
If I said Motley blank, who would it be?
Motley Crue.
Motley Crue. Yeah. You need to ask your parents about Motley Crue. This band could rock, man. They could rock. All right, good stuff today. Really appreciate on the Dick Van Dyke Appliance World phone line, Jason Pat and Jonah Wilson, our Valley expert, joining us there. Heard a little bit from Brett Bielema. Heard a little bit of, I got a scam likely phone call coming over on my cell phone.
Careful.
That's when you go, yeah, I don't think I'm interested, but I've got something I'm selling. And then they hang up. They hang up really quick. All right, Kyle, can you update us on the Padres and the Phillies?
Padres now lead 7-4.
Ooh.
I wasn't paying attention to how they scored, though. So
well, Bell had a hit. Somebody had a hit to center in the middle of the Jason Pat interview. I saw via our Facebook, or no, this isn't Facebook, YouTube. I could see the game on there, and I saw somebody flare one in the center. So, yeah, the Padres leading in the bottom of the fifth now, 7-5, still batting. They got Aaron Nola, chased him, and then Hand came in. They chased him. So it's looking good here for the Padres to try to even this thing up. What do you think of Yankees-Astros tonight with Verlander on the hill?
It's going to be tough to beat Verlander, especially when you don't have your top guy in Garrett Cole or even Nestor Cortez. And on the heels of I said on the heels like 5 different times today. Get away from the heels.
Especially
the Carolina
7,000, so you're
Tar
right.
Heels.
Yeah, right.
Coming off of...
It is funny how you do that, right?
Yeah. You get
catch
stuck
yourself,
on one like phrase.
Yes. It happens.
Coming off of a big win yesterday, quick turnaround. Although sometimes in playoffs...
I agree.
Not playing for a while can play against you. But long story short, Astros at home probably take game 1.
Okay. Boy, they've been a nemesis, right? A nemesis, is that the right word? To the Yankees of late. So, the Astros, I know the whole scandal, the whole cheating. It's a pretty good team. They just continue to get it done every year. Didn't they did the trash can one year, and then, like, little guy Altuve wouldn't take his jersey off because they think then that they were doing – wonder what they're going to do this year.
Underneath.
Yeah, the buzzer this year. Wonder what they got this year. Be interesting to see. Kyle, thanks for coming in, buddy.
Of course.
Didn't really utilize your skill today.
It's all right.
All right. Are you in tomorrow or Friday?
I am here tomorrow, not Friday.
Let's preview the boring NFL tomorrow.
Way to sell it.
Because the Arizona Cardinals play tomorrow night.
That's right.
Let's come with can I get a Cardinal guy on tomorrow? Hey, what do we have tomorrow? We got James Herring at 5:30. We love James Herring.
Yes, sir.
We're going to talk to him, and then Terry Allen, which is kind of outside the box. I apologize, got to do this again. Kind of outside the box. Terry Allen coached at Northern Iowa and the University of Kansas and then Missouri State football. He was the head coach at those spots, especially Northern Iowa and University of Kansas. He was Kurt Warner's college coach. And it's just so dumb, but I was watching a thing on Kurt Warner one day. This has been like 4 months ago. And I'm like, I'd love to have Terry Allen on because I used to cover Coach Allen when he was with the Gateway, which is used to be, now it's the Missouri Valley. So we'll get some stories on Kurt Warner tomorrow, which could be kind of fun. But then James Herring, we'll ask him about Illinois and Kansas.
Yeah, a guy that's been in those close scrimmages. Curious to get his intake on what that looks like, how you put those together, and what's going on behind the scenes, because, of course, we can't see those. But
that's must-listen-to radio with James Herring.
He always is.
That'll be 5:05 for Coach Allen and 5:30 for James Herring. That'll be fun. And then we'll do something in the 4 o'clock hour to try to figure it out. All right, let's get out of here. We'll watch the end of this Phillies-Padres game. And, of course, tonight you got the Yankees and the Astros. Astros, I called them. Astros. I got
Bulls Heat at 6:30.
Oh, that's right.
Go
we got to
Bulls.
make our – oh, crap. Bet coming up. We're out of here. Man, Lon, you suck!
Hi, I'm Jay Lehman. As a former elite athlete, my chiropractic care is very important to me. I believe in it, but sometimes chiropractic care can be expensive and inconvenient, but not at the Joint Chiropractic, located at 2003 South Neal. Not only does the Joint have great chiropractors, it's affordable, convenient, and no appointment or insurance is necessary. Text Champagne to 56468 to claim the new patient special, $29 for a consultation, examination, and adjustment at the Joint Champagne.
Join the U of I Alumni Association today. With your annual membership fee, new members will enjoy discounts to Illini merchandise and tickets, career counseling, continuing education, and many more benefits. In addition, the Alumni Association has worked hard building the Alma Market, where visitors can shop Illini-owned businesses and support their favorite local retailers in Champaign-Urbana. For details on these exciting new ventures connecting our Illini community, visit uiaa.org. Go Illini!
Illinois football is back. Shop at Game